Hola amigos, Stuart here with the Spain news update. We'll take a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press here in Spain, and we'll also take a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. Before I begin, a huge thanks to all of the people that have supported the channel in recent times, whether it's by buying me a coffee, whether it's through the super thanks option on YouTube, longer term supporters on Patreon, channel members of the YouTube channel. Thank you very much for that valuable support. Now, straight into the news and Spain's migration crisis. Unfortunately, making headlines today, 7 people have lost their lives off the island of El Hierro when the boat they were traveling in from Africa capsized. And as we can read here, 7 migrant women dead, 3 of the minors, as the boat they were traveling in capsized in El Hierro. A companion jumped into the water and saved a baby. The tragic incident occurred off the coast of El Hierro in the Canary Islands when a cayuco or wooden boat carrying migrants capsized just as it was approaching the port of La Restringa. 7 migrant women died, including 3 minors, while 2 more girls remained in critical condition. The boat overturned after the passengers reportedly shifted to one side during docking, causing it to lose balance. Local restaurant owner Javier Iglesias witnessed the aftermath and described the rapid response from police, medical teams, fishermen, divers and local residents. Members of the island's diving centres immediately entered the water and rescued several survivors. Remarkably, an air pocket trapped under the capsized boat allowed over 10 people to breathe and survive until the wooden boat eventually flipped back upright. These individuals had been underwater for up to 30 minutes before being pulled to safety. The event highlights the continued dangers faced by migrants attempting perilous sea crossings to reach European shores. So, another tragedy off the coast of the Canary Islands, this time the island of El Hierro. 7 people unfortunately losing their lives, but the death toll could have been a lot more. And it was the rapid response from people on that island that saved the lives of more people. Second piece of news now, and the Spanish government has been accused of pressuring countries in the European Union to recognize minority languages, for example, Catalan, Galician and Basque. And as we can read here, Spain deploys threats to push EU recognition of minority languages. Spain is pressuring EU member states to recognise Basque, Catalan and Galician as official EU languages, driven by domestic political needs. Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez relies on the support of Catalan separatists, particularly Junts per Catalonia, to pass key legislation. In return, they are demanding official EU status for their regional languages. A previous attempt in 2023 failed, but a new vote on the issue is scheduled for tomorrow. Spain's push has unsettled several EU allies, with concerns that approval could set a precedent for other minority languages and increase translation costs. To win support, Madrid has offered to cover the estimated €132 million annual cost of translation and interpretation. However, diplomats doubt Spain's long-term commitment to this promise. Madrid has also reportedly used political pressure, including questioning troop deployments in Eastern Europe, which has further irritated some EU partners and raised tensions within the bloc. So there we go, Spain pressuring, or we could say bullying, smaller European Union countries to recognise those minority languages here in Spain at a European level: Catalan, Galician and Basque. And this is just another example of the demands of Spain's #1 fugitive, Carles Puigdemont and company. And the Spanish government is desperate to get the support of people like Carles Puigdemont and his party, because without that support, they may as well pack their bags and go home. And no surprises that EU diplomats are doubting Spain's commitment to fund this initiative long term, considering the Spanish government's track record when it comes to telling the truth. Third piece of news now, and we all know that Spain's economy has been lauded in recent times by various international organizations and also international press outlets. For example, The Economist saying that Spain's economy currently is the best in the world. But the reality for a lot of people here in Spain is a lot different, because as we can read from this headline, diminishing purchasing power. Households today pay 14% more income tax than in 2008, despite having 5% less income. In 2024, Spanish households are paying 14% more in income tax than they did in 2008, despite having 5% less real net income. According to economist Desiderio Romero Jordan, this loss of purchasing power is primarily due to the impact of inflation on tax collection, a phenomenon known as cold progressivity. It means that wage increases designed to keep up with inflation have pushed families into higher tax brackets without actually improving their financial situation. Official figures show that while the real average net income index is 95.7, below 2008 levels, the real average income tax burden has reached 114.4. This disparity has emerged because income tax rates have not been adjusted for inflation, resulting in higher effective taxation. At the same time, Social Security contributions have also increased due to pension reforms. 15 years after the global financial crisis, Spanish households have still not regained their previous purchasing power. And that is the reality for the average family here in Spain. They're worse off than they were in 2008. So forget about the hyperbole from the government. The Spanish economy might be going well on paper, but for the average person here. And the final piece of news now, and anyone in Spain at the moment will know that the weather's a bit hot at the moment. But what do we know about the extraordinary heat wave affecting Spain? Spain is experiencing an extraordinary heat wave that will last until Sunday, with temperatures exceeding the seasonal average by over 10 degrees Celsius. Regions such as Catalonia, Andalusia, Aragon, Extremadura and Galicia have already received their first heat warnings of the year. The peak of the heat wave is expected on Friday and Saturday, with Zaragoza forecast to hit 38 degrees Celsius. Meteorologists suggest that the 29th of May and June the 1st could be the hottest dates for this period since at least 1950. Looking ahead, the first half of June is likely to be hotter than normal, with no widespread storms expected, a contrast to early summer weather in the previous 2 years. Most of the country will be affected, though the Canary Islands will largely avoid the extreme temperatures. The heat in the Cantabrian region will be milder and shorter lived. The most intense heat is expected in inland Andalusia, particularly in Seville, Huelva and Cádiz and Córdoba. So there we go, that's what we know about the extraordinary heat wave that is affecting Spain at the moment, with temperatures in some parts of the country exceeding seasonal averages by 10 degrees Celsius. And for people visiting Spain at the moment and are in the south of the country, probably better to find a cool place and sit this one out. Now let's have a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. One here from Yannissi. Hi Stu and guests. A pensioner making €1,000 a month wouldn't qualify for the Spanish non-lucrative visa. Hopefully a rental solution is found by Spain before 2035. Thanks for the humour. Yeah Yannissi, thanks for the comment, but I doubt we'll find a solution to this rental crisis anytime soon. The government, as we know, has various measures on the table, but if government intervention in the past is anything to go by, I'm not confident. And as far as the NLV or the non-lucrative visa is concerned, I believe the financial requirements for that visa are quite stiff. One here from Janet. How awful. Poor animals. So much unnecessary suffering. I am totally against any kind of animal cruelty. What a sad society we live in. Thanks for the update, Stuart. Yeah, Janet, thanks for the comment and referring to an article that we saw the other day about an illegal slaughterhouse on the outskirts of Madrid in a town called San Fernando de Henares, where authorities found hundreds of animals in dire conditions. And I, for one, can't understand how this type of thing still happens in a modern European country on the outskirts of the capital city of that country. Are local authorities not doing their job and checking what's happening in their local municipality? Seems to be the case. Were local residents in that area not suspicious about the activities going on in that warehouse? Or are people in that town just not worried about anything that doesn't affect them directly? Got no idea. One here from Blu-ray. Spain can still be affordable, but it depends on the location. Obviously, big cities like Barcelona, Madrid, Valencia, Bilbao, etc. are pricey, but rent rent can be half the price in other places like Mazaron, Torrevieja, etc, etc. One thing I will say is everyday costs of living, food, electricity, etc. has been increasing here since COVID. I would say food prices here in Orihuela Costa, for example, have gone up 25% since I got here in September 2020. And don't forget, Spain may also want to tax your global income, including pensions. Yeah, Blu-ray fan, thanks for the comment, and you're absolutely right. Affordable living can still be found in Spain in places like the ones that you mentioned there, Torrevieja, Mazaron, and Orihuela Costa. But unfortunately, those towns are places where a lot of Spanish people don't want to live or can't live because there's no jobs there. Fantastic if you are retired and looking for a life in the sun, but to make ends meet, don't know. One here from Welsh Toto. I noticed that the El País article did not use the word Chinese to describe where this meat was being sold to. It said Asian restaurants. People have been very quick to point the finger and assume that means Chinese restaurants, but as another commenter has pointed out, goat and mutton are not found in any Chinese restaurant takeaway I know. This meat is used in South Asian cuisine such as Pakistan, India, or Bangladesh. Yeah, Welsh, thanks for the comment, and I think you're right that the El País article did not mention the word Chinese, only the word Asian, but other press here in Spain did use the word Chinese because it was 4 Chinese restaurants that were shut down as a result of this investigation. There was no mention of Pakistani restaurants being closed down, no mention of Indian restaurants being closed down, and no mention of Bangladeshi restaurants being closed down. Only Chinese. As we can read here in the newspaper El Mundo, the meat was distributed to various Chinese restaurants in the Uceda district of Madrid and the Cobo Calleja industrial estate in Fuenlabrada, Madrid. After inspecting 9 catering establishments, 4 were ordered to close as a precautionary measure. So it seems the finger pointing, or at least according to that article in that newspaper, was correct. One here from Lee. I'm intrigued. What does a dodgy Chinese restaurant look like? Are there obvious signs to look for? Please share your thoughts. Yeah, Lee, thanks for the comment. I don't want to throw all Chinese restaurants under the bus here, put them all in the same basket, because as we know, there are some good Chinese restaurants here in Spain, but let's be honest, there are some Chinese restaurants that leave a lot to be desired. One of the big problems nowadays, especially with the advent of these delivery apps, which have become very, very popular here in Spain, Uber Eats and the like, is that some people set up restaurants. Well, restaurants isn't really the correct word. I think businesses is a better word. They set up these businesses only to sell food through the apps. There's no restaurant per se. And it was to these establishments, apparently, that a lot of this dodgy meat was being sold. So my advice would be to anyone that orders food through these apps, whether it be Uber Eats, Glovo, or Just Eat, check and make sure that there is a licensed establishment behind the brand, because often there's not, and who knows what goes on inside those kitchens. And the final comment here from Simon. Galicia is a wonderful part of Spain. Santiago de Compostela is totally ruined by pilgrims of the Camino, once a spiritual path but now a commercial theme park of consumerism. Yeah, Simon, thanks for the comment. And as you guys know, I have just returned from Santiago de Compostela, video about that city coming out next week. And it is true that the center of Santiago, the historic center of Santiago de Compostela, has changed enormously over the last few years. But I wouldn't go as far as to say that the whole city has been ruined by pilgrims, to use your word, not mine. But I would agree that the historic center of that city, especially where the cathedral is located, is quickly turning into a theme park. On that note, I'm going to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. If you have anything to add to the conversation today, please, the comment section is the place for you. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and turn on notifications so that you never miss a video that I post. Until the next one, hasta luego from Spain.